Hello and welcome to the Break the Bias series of Time to Shine. This is your host Rukhsar and today I'm in conversation with Swarleen Kaur. She is the epitome of courage and wisdom. She's an author, educator, and she's also the director and founder of the very well-known The Talk Room. So welcome Swarleen on this platform, and it is good to connect with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, Swarleen, when I went through and I researched on your professional background, I thought that yes, it resonates a lot with me, and that's the reason why I'm so excited, to learn about your journey. How have you started the initiative of Talk Room? Being into a teaching field and doing so well, incredibly, well in this area, in this field. So, what was your main inspiration behind this, and what was the main step to start?
I always wanted to do something in life, but that something was not, like a niche for me, that this is it where I belong to. I'd always wanted to coach and teach. And I thought when I'd been teaching for 18 years as a PGT English, I'd always thought that, this is it, what I wanted to do. And I got that kind of, pleasure in teaching and interacting with my students, communicating with them at the personal level also. As a personality coach, I was not into that complete, professional trainings, but yes, I was doing a lot for my students and they were interacting with me. But what happened was in 2019, when I won the International Public Speaking Championship. So then it somewhere got a little hyped in me that maybe this is what I really want to do. I wanted to, talk to more of people, reach to more number of people. There has been somewhere, that kind of a hitch where I see that people don't want to talk apart from what the superficial talks are involved in. Rather than the deep talks, people, they just cling themselves to what they are superficially. But I wanted them to, talk their hearts out, know what the other is going through, tell about their problems, understand each other. So I thought, why not start with something that's called the talk room, where we all talk about what we don't want to seem like talking to everybody. Yes. So it was like an open platform to people who wanted to come and talk to me, get counsel for the problems that they were facing. That I saw a lovely board one day that showed drawing room, and I inquisitively got inside and I said, like, wow, it's a furniture shop. So I said, so where we want to talk, let's make it the talk room. So there I thought of, then 2019, earlier, I resigned from my job and completely started with my initiative called the Talk Room.
That's really wonderful. So while starting this, there might be some roadblocks or challenges which you might have faced. So what were those challenges?
Failures, I've always believed, are Rukhsar, the stepping stones. Yes. Anyone who has not tasted bitter in life cannot tell exactly what sweet tastes like.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, as soon as I opened, I was doing my board corrections for class 12 exams, and I just opened up the talk room when the first lockdown came in. Just I was like, a little baffled that I've resigned from my job and I've got into this new venture, and immediately this lockdown has come up. How am I going to handle this? Because we'd already spread a word that we're coming up with our personality school, and how is it going to work? But sometimes it is an angel in disguise wala situation, where I thought that the lockdown brought us all together and more closer. Otherwise, we would not have been sitting here from Dubai and India talking to each other like talking face to face. But then, gradually people started to understand like what we are doing, and then we started to cater students from all over the world, rather than just like my own area where I put up. That completely changed. Another, kind of a block was the thing that I started to face was, for people, personality development was, is it spoken English or is it communication skills? You've got to tell us that. Exactly. Whereas I wanted to make them aware that personality is a perception. It's a sum total of all the characteristics. So it was like the roadblock that people had in their minds related to personality. It took me some time to shed off that kind of a mental block, that it's not really about how you speak English, because English is a language, personality
Yes.
is a skill. Soft skills are the skills that, so both of them can be learned, but the perceptions
Exactly.
are absolutely different from each other. So that was where, these two roadblocks, when I started with my work, I started feeling that people are not much aware about this concept.
Yeah. So, what is your, biggest achievement for you till date? As you're doing so multiple works together and you're doing excellent in these all fields. For you, what is the biggest achievement?
I must say there have been a number of them now, by God's grace. I'll just name a few. The first one was when an international magazine came to me that they wanted to feature me on the cover page, Fashion Vista. So
Great.
I was like, my God. And then I was awarded A plus coach by All India Radio. Then I got this A certificate from Music's Channel in Communication. And then definitely my dream came true, that is being a TEDx speaker. I'd always
Really
watched
great.
TEDx speakers, and as I grew, and there was like a passion and kind of that I want to do it once. I want to be here first. That was another achievement. Then writing my own book was another kind of achievement. So they're very close to my heart.
That's really wonderful. So, you said writing your book was also one of your achievement. What can you share some insight about your book to our listeners?
Okay. So my book, Good Vibes Make Good Lives. Well, people do laugh. It would have been Good Vibes Make Good Lives, and to which I agree. When I wrote this, it was like I wrote it in a fictional form, in a fictional format, where I've been talking about different personalities of people. So somebody who came out with the courage, somebody who had that self-confidence to change the world. So there are 10 different stories which have 10 different characters, the major protagonists, who talk about different personalities. It's all about the good virtues that we carry. We have it in ourselves. But sometimes, our differences or our difficulties in our lives, they make us realize that this is the time that you've got to come out of your own shells and comfort zones and be the person you are. So it talks about different personalities.
That's wonderful. So, Swarleen, many people have come out with, their own podcast also, their own podcast or their own series. So, if they want to start, if a newcomer comes into the field and many are experienced over here, but what advice you have to, give them who are starting, who are thinking to start in this field for anchoring, whether it be anchoring or, confidence building. So, what is
Yeah.
your, yeah,
The very first thing is never give up. It may take time. There are two things: your patience and perseverance,
yeah,
which is
exactly.
going to pay you. You cannot expect the first day I have put up a podcast and it's like, oh, and millions of views coming up and people
Yeah,
actually responding well to it. You've got to be consistent. Keep on doing that. Whether it's a
exactly.
one like you, whether people are following your podcasts or not, don't worry about that. It'll gradually happen. Rome wasn't built in a day. So how can we expect that, in a day we become like a famous thing by
Yeah.
doing a podcast? It'll take time. It will happen. If you're rich with your content, and especially with the podcast, if you're very good with your voice modulation, it pays you
Exactly.
really well. So your consistency, your patience and perseverance is going to definitely take you way ahead. That's my
Yeah.
take on it.
Yeah. So, Swelleen, my next question is that who are like those people who you looked upon to or inspired you in your journey? Like,
When I was changing my, I call it a journey of chalk se talk tak. So when I was, transforming my own self, I was doing a lot of introspection in the time period when I was thinking of resigning. I was reading about different, personality coaches who have been able to impact, who have been influential enough to touch lives. Dana Osland was one of them. She's a co-founder of Mama to Millionaire team. She's a business coach. Now, her mission, as I read about her, was to put passion and purpose back into the entrepreneurship while helping mothers create that profitable online kinds of businesses. Now, she herself draws on her background in communication, economics, entrepreneurship, and she utilized this completely as a successful homeschooling. It's like attaching the parenting mamapreneur to teach women to match their action. Because generally we see, we have this female, part has a little kind of identity crisis which they feel.
Yes.
So, when she saw that, women were frustrated, defeated, and misled, she came up. She decided that, she'd got to disrupt the coaching industry and give moms of what they really need. And it just touched my heart. So she became like a, kind of inspiration for me. And I thought that, once when I am able to put my, foot front, I will definitely be sure. So we definitely have now number of women entrepreneurs and people, homemakers with us.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So moving on the last segment, Swarleen, what is your one piece of advice to those aspirational youth out there who want to try something new, maybe in their own field, or they want to choose another field? So what is your one piece of advice to them?
The first thing is, if you've taken that first step or even thought of taking that first step, go ahead, march ahead, and don't quit. Because as it is said, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you are trudging seems all uphill, don't fear. Please.
Wonderful.
It is all right to fall. It is all right to get into that pitfalls. I will tell you, jump into it. Fail once. Because when you rise up, you rise like a phoenix from its own ashes.
Exactly.
So it's important that you keep on marching. There will be a number of failures in your way, and let them come. It's all right. Don't fear. Because if you get afraid, that fear can be kind of a factor which will pull you back. Don't let your fear, rule over you. Just just flow with the flow. That's
Rightly said, rightly said. That's wonderful, and thank you, Swarleen, for, sharing such insightful stories and, giving such inspiration to our listeners. I hope they will have a lot of takeaway from this session and your words will inspire millions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rukhsar. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me.